It's really exciting to see this crowd here. On my way here to talk about my experience growing up in the 1960s, I was wondering how a nice Jewish boy from Brooklyn, New York, went on a journey to arrive here as a transgender woman, speaking in the historic center of Lexington, Massachusetts. Well, the truth is that both my journey and the journey of our LGBT community experienced the 60s as a time of coming of age and rites of passage. For anyone who may have read any of my books or blogs, you may know that I commonly reference the music and lyrics of my generation, as this helped create my worldviews as I was on my journey, and I will be sharing some of these with you today. Back in the year 1960, I turned 13 and experienced my own first rite of passage, my bar mitzvah. This is the time that Jewish boys make their first major transition and claim, "Today I am a man." Yes, I made that claim, but already at the age of 13, I knew it was a lie. Honestly, I had no idea why or what I really was. Remember, this was a full decade before there was any concept of pride. Since pride was absent for people like me, like many of us, the feelings that we experienced included confusion, shame, and fear. Whatever was going on within me needed to be kept hidden and secret at any cost. Protect this and fit in. Don't dare let anyone know. Deny to everyone, even to myself. I got pretty good at this, even though all through that decade, when no one was home, I would be trying on my mom's clothes, all the time feeling ashamed and confused. This was the time before the acronym and even the words they stood for in LGBT even existed. For those in this community, they would be considered mentally disordered and even criminals. This was certainly a root cause of my fears. So I learned to hide, and the result of this was to not build any close relationships with either boys or girls. I was indeed alone. After the 60s, Jackson Browne wrote Running on Empty, and I was struck by his own timeline, which paralleled mine. He wrote, "In 65, I was 17 and running up 101. I don't know where I'm running now, I'm just running on." For me, in 65, I was 17 and graduated high school, and my version of 101 became the R train, as I spent the next 4 years commuting 2 hours a day from Brooklyn to downtown Manhattan for college. No social life at all, and easy to hide, as I was just running on. Browne continued, "In 69 I was 21 and I called the road my own. I don't know when that road turned into the road I'm on." In May of 69 I graduated college and moved to Massachusetts. I was not completely on my own yet, as I had 4 roommates. I was still hiding and living confused, in shame and fear. Now, I think everyone would agree that 1969 was a year of so many rites of passage. The first moon landing, the last episode of the original Star Trek, Woodstock, the first time the Mets won the World Series. But today we're also here to celebrate the 50th anniversary of what's known as the Stonewall riots. On the evening of June 28th, something happened. Something changed. Someone said, enough. Many took a stand and fought back. To be seen, to be heard, to be just allowed to be accepted for who they are. It makes no matter whether the story that the first brick was thrown by a transgender woman of color or not. As to me, this event was not just a riot. It was an act of conception. It led 2 trans women of color, Marsha Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, to start a movement, and 1 year later, the very first Pride Parade took place. Also in '69, The Who released the very first rock opera, Tommy, and the refrain that still serves my soul was sung. See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. For all of us, For each of us, whether we are in the LGBT community or whatever community we are part of. That refrain is what each of us need and deserve. Be proud and be true and have pride in your own authenticity. 50 years on, we are still coming of age and still have our rites of passage to allow everyone to live without confusion, without shame, without fear. We will be seen, felt, touched, and healed. We will not go away. We have come on a long journey that we are celebrating here, yet we still have work to do. Thank you.